Welcome back. We are in now Revelation 14. Last episode we did the beast, the mark of the beast, his prophet, the image, all that. So if you haven't checked that one out, go back, get caught up, check that one out now. We're jumping back into the Lamb and his 144,000. Let's see what we got here. Revelation 14. Then I looked, to behold, the Lamb was standing on Mount Zion, and with him 144,000, having his name and the name of his Father written on their foreheads. And I heard a voice from heaven like the sound of many waters, and like the sound of loud thunder. And the voice which I heard was like the sound of a harpist playing on their harps. And they sang a new song before the throne, before the four living creatures and the elders. And no one could learn the song except the 144,000 who had been purchased from the earth. These are ones who have not been defiled with women, for they have kept themselves chaste. These are the ones who follow the Lamb wherever he goes. These have been purchased from among men as first fruits to God and to the Lamb. And no lie was found in their mouth. They are blameless. And I saw another angel flying in mid-heaven, having an eternal gospel to preach to those who live on the earth, and to every nation and tribe and tongue and people. And he said with a loud voice, Fear God and give him glory, because the hour of his judgment has come. Worship him who made the heaven and the earth and the sea and springs of water. And another angel, a second one, followed, saying, Fallen, fallen is Babylon the Great, she who has made all the nations drink of the wine of the passion of her immorality. Then another angel, a third one, followed them, saying with a loud voice, If anyone worships the beast and his image, and receives a mark on his forehead or his hand, he will also drink of the wine of the wrath of God, which is mixed in full strength in the cup of his anger. And he will be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, in the presence of the Lamb. And the smoke of their torment goes up forever and ever. They have no rest, day or night, those who worship the beast in his image, and whoever receives the mark of his name. Here is the perseverance of the saints, who keep the commandments of God and their faith in Jesus. And I heard from heaven saying, Write, blessed are the dead who died in the Lord from now on. Yes, says the Spirit, so that they may rest from their labor, for their deeds follow with them. Then I looked, and behold, a white cloud, and sitting on the cloud was one like the son of a man, not the son of man, son of a man, a little different, having a golden crown on his head and a sharp sickle in his hand. We'll come back to this. And another angel came out of the temple, crying out with a loud voice to him who sat on the cloud, Put in your sickle and reap, for the hour to reap is come, because the harvest of the earth is ripe. Then he who sat on the cloud swung his sickle over the earth, and the earth was reaped. And another angel came out of the temple which is in heaven, and he also had a sharp sickle. Then another angel who has power over fire came out from the altar, and he called with a loud voice to the one who had the sharp sickle, saying, Put in your sharp sickle and gather the clusters from the vine of the earth, because her grapes are ripe. So the angel swung his sickle to the earth, and gathered the clusters from the vine of the earth, and threw them into the great winepress of the wrath of God. And the winepress was trodden outside the city, and blood came out of the winepress, up to the horses' bridles, for the distance of 200 miles. Now, this is literal in the sense that this will happen as God will carry out this judgment against those who took the mark or worship the beast. Now, it's metaphoric in that this is not a separate instance. He's seeing the spiritual thing happen. He's seeing it up in the heavenly realms, right? In the spiritual realm. And then it's echoed down here over the course of the bowls. Which it comes, I think 2 chapters later, something like that. So he's seeing it foreshadowed in heaven or actuated in heaven, and then it happens here, or it's initiated in the spiritual realm and then actuated down here. So let's go back a little bit. A couple things we want to pull out of here. We're back to the 144,000. These are 12,000 from each tribe, either figurative 12,000 or non-figurative 12,000 actual. But this is a group of individuals who are sealed in opposition and protected through this time. They're not touched from what we've seen so far. These folks are not, they are not exterminated by the Antichrist and his power to wage war and overcome the saints. So while the Antichrist is sweeping through the earth just with the power of the prophet and the image, just locking everybody out from the economics, and when it says he was taken off to captivity, just rounding them up, or kills by the sword must be slain by the sword, that whole kind of deal, or anybody who's fighting back is killed, and anybody who's not is taken into captivity, and the rest basically, you're just locked out of commerce entirely. So if you don't fall into those categories, then you're worshiping the beast, or you're these folks here who are preserved through that. It doesn't appear that they whatever, they're affected by it. The vision of the gospel. So over this course of time, there is a proclamation likely from these 144,000 that are, and from the prophets. Again, he's seeing this in the spiritual, right? He's seeing all this happening in mid-heaven. So it's like this, and I think it's important that he says mid-heaven, so that it's not, it's like a representative thing. Like something's happening and I'm seeing like an echo of it. So he's seeing that there is a call to repentance, and it's likely being made in actuality by the 144,000 and the 2 prophets that are here in this time, while the Antichrist is rolling around and contesting that if you take this, you're toast. And any of the saints that are alive during this time, as just a word of encouragement, like stand firm. And also, Babylon has fallen. This whole regime is done. It's a spark in the pan. God's coming to smash this thing soon. So hold fast. And then the rebuke, anyone who worships the beast and receives the mark is going to drink the full strength of the wrath of God. He's not holding back anything. And specifically them, we don't know a ton, even though the Bible speaks about hell a lot, there is still a lot that we don't know about it, and like all the different elements of it, there's a lot we don't know. But if we're just taking it at face value, there's a special place for the folks that take the mark, that they will be in a place in the lake of fire that is very visible to God. And their torment is made prominent. So don't take the mark. Perseverance of the saints, blessed are those who died in the Lord. And we're back to that white robes that we were talking about earlier in the book. And the reapers. Okay, so this is an interesting thing. Something that I have to dive into a little bit more. There is wording, and this might just be a translation thing. I really don't know. Something I'll try to look into this week, and we'll recap it on Hanging Out with Uncle Charlie. I looked and behold, and a white cloud sitting on was one like the Son of Man. Like Son of Man. There's Son of a Man, Son of Man, and I think I'm pretty sure, anytime it says a Son of Man or the Son of Man, then it's referring to Jesus. And then if it says Son of a Man or something like that, then it's not. I got to look. It might be the Son of Man or a Son of Man, and that's like different. I don't know. But I know that there is a distinction between like the Son of Man or a Son of Man or something like that. It's an keep an eye out as we read more. Keep an eye out. Something I won't call it out. I don't remember exactly what the thing is, but keep an eye on that phrase because we will see it a ton more throughout this book, I believe. And when we read through like Genesis and Isaiah, Ezekiel, we'll see that a lot more. So we'll keep an eye out for that distinction. But we go in and it's understood, at least through the translations here, that we're capitalizing H in his, so we're referring to Jesus. And he's coming through, and he is pouring out a judgment. And this is the judgment that I was talking about, this reaping. When it's talking about being the wrath, the winepress of his wrath, he's gathering those folks and pressing them into that winepress. And then ultimately, there's the sharp sickle. And I believe this is referring to that final battle where we'll get to it, but that final battle in Megiddo where he wipes out the armies of the earth that rise up against him, and the blood is like 6 feet high throughout the whole valley. And I don't know specifically 200 miles, but again, he's seeing something more figurative at the moment. He's seeing it in the spiritual realm, and then it's going to be happening in the physical. So it's, I think, horses' bridles is probably around 6-ish feet or something. Well, we'll get to the Valley of Megiddo portion of it later. So, yeah. Similar as we've seen before the seals, before the trumpets, there's like a happening in the spiritual realm. And John sees that, and then it happens in the physical realm, and it's much more specific and whatever. So this is what we see here. There's one more chapter in between, and then we get into the bowls, and we see this whole thing actually play out in specifics. So that's it for this one. Thank you for watching. I will see you in the next one. Read your Bible.